The screech of metal snapping woke me at 4:32 a.m., a sound that carved itself into my memory as evidence of a crime. In the foggy pre-dawn, 3 figures loomed outside my grandmother's Oakwood Heights home, their silhouettes cold and deliberate. A stack of papers and a small glare hit me like a slap, wielded by Claire Thornton, the HOA president who thought she could suffocate me with her fake authority. I'm Lucas Bennett, 32, a Supreme Court attorney living quietly in my grandmother's house, my law degree hidden behind a modest facade. Claire, 38, with her pastel suit and perfect curls, ruled the neighborhood like a queen, her real estate background lending her a veneer of legitimacy. But when I refused her community improvement project, her charm turned to venom. I never imagined she'd break into my property at 4:32 a.m., but she did, and she was about to learn she targeted the wrong man. Oakwood Heights was a quiet enclave where neighbors kept to themselves, and I blended in, paying HOA dues and maintaining my grandmother's rose garden. Claire's inspections were routine, her compliments on my roses syrupy until I declined her $200,000 community center plan, which demanded my garden as a storage site for 6 months. It's my grandmother's legacy, I told her, voice steady. Her eyes flashed, a tight smile masking fury. We'll find another way, she said, but her tone was ice. Within days, a $200 fine arrived for grass 2.1 inches tall, just over her new, unannounced 2-inch limit. I measured within the old 2.5-inch rule and called her. A mistake, I said. We updated the rules, she snapped, no notice given. I moved to 1.8 inches, only to get a $150 fine for cutting too short, an aesthetic I saw. Digging into HOA records, I found Claire had changed 20 rules in 6 months without board approval or resident notice, violating state law. She was a dictator, rewriting rules to punish defiance. Claire's next move was sinister. She spread rumors, whispering to Mrs. Lee, Lucas seems troubled work issues, maybe. Friendly wave stopped, Mr. Hayes, a retired cop, crossed the street to avoid me. She held emergency meetings I wasn't invited to, pushing rules on lawnmower hours and garden decor. One morning, Selfish was pre-painted across my fence, my cameras catching Claire's silver SUV cruising by at 3 a.m. When I reported it, Officer Daniels arrived, but Claire was there first, pristine in makeup at dawn. Someone's framing me, she told him, implying I'd vandalized my own fence. Daniels, swayed by her polish, doubted my story. Then Claire announced a mandatory meeting to push her project, excluding me. Mrs. Lee let it slip, confused by my ignorance. At the pavilion, Claire, in a mint blazer, declared me a threat to community cohesion, accusing me of threatening calls. She played a clipped recording of me saying, "You regret this," stripped of context I'd meant her bullying would backfire. The crowd of 40 turned on me, voting 37-0 to force my cooperation or relocate. Humiliated, I felt my grandmother's home slipping away. A certified letter from Thornton and Associates demanded $100,000 for obstructing community development and threatened property seizure. The firm's address was a UPS mailbox, its attorney, Robert Thornton, Claire's brother with 2 fraud convictions. This wasn't just harassment, it was a con. Then came 4:32 a.m. Claire, Robert, and a man with bolt cutters stood at my gate. "Open the door, Lucas," she barked. "We are securing community property." I refused, citing my rights. "We have a court order," she sneered, as they cut my fence. Officer Daniels arrived, handed fake documents by Claire. "Sergeant Carter approved this," she lied. Daniels, unsure, asked for my HOA charter. Buried in files, I couldn't produce it, looking unhinged in my bathrobe against her polished lies. "Sign over your yard, and this ends," she whispered as Daniels left. "Or you'll lose everything." Her menace confirmed a deeper game. In my DC office, I accessed federal databases, uncovering Claire's past as Claire Simmons, sued for embezzling $75,000 from another HOA. Her real estate credentials were fake, and Taunton Construction, her community center contractor, was a shell company funneling funds to her and Robert's accounts. Mrs. Lee, an accountant, slipped me a USB with proof of $50,000 in fake expenses landscaping, safety equipment siphoned to Claire's accounts. She threatened my business, Lee confessed, trembling. But after your meeting, I couldn't stay silent. I approached Mr. Hayes, hoping his police background would help. He nodded, taking notes, but hours later, Claire called, gloating. Hayes told me everything, Lucas. Your evidence. Gone. Mrs. Lee's USB. Wiped by a virus. Sign over your yard in 48 hours, or it gets worse. Betrayed, I stared at the blank USB, isolated, my allies crushed. A knock came that night. Sarah Coleman, SEC investigator, flashed credentials. Claire's part of a multi-state fraud ring tied to the Moretti crime family, she said. Her project's a money laundering front. She targeted you because you're a Supreme Court attorney on a Moretti case. Hayes and Lee were undercover, their betrayal a ruse to lure Claire. The real evidence was safe. We need you to trap her, Sarah said. We planned a community meeting where I'd feign surrender, letting Claire incriminate herself under FBI surveillance. Thursday, the pavilion buzzed with 43 residents. I wore a rumpled shirt, playing defeated. Claire, in a navy blazer, crowed, Lucas has agreed to cooperate. I nodded, voice flat. I'll give up my yard. But how will the $200,000 be spent? She faltered. For the community center, via Taunton Construction. I pulled out records. A company owned by your brother, Robert, with fraud convictions. Gasps rose. And $50,000 to your personal account. Mrs. Lee stood. I've seen the books. It's theft. Claire snapped, you agreed to stay quiet. Her mask slipped. I pressed, revealing $30,000 for fake landscaping, $25,000 for non-existent equipment. Sarah entered, FBI vest gleaming. Claire Taunton, you're under arrest for wire fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy. Claire's scream echoed as agents cuffed her, admitting her Moretti ties to discredit me. Claire got 18 years, Robert 15, and a Moretti boss 25. Seized assets reimburse residents $50,000 plus. The FBI's probe netted 47 arrests, dismantling the syndicate. Oakwood Heights restructured its HOA with Transparency Hayes as president, Lee as treasurer. Block parties and a community garden bloomed, my grandmother's roses at its heart. A plaque read, Justice begins with protecting what matters. The case sparked national HOA reforms, my stand a beacon for fighting corruption. Kids now play where Claire's lies fell, learning that truth and courage can break any empire. Claire thought she could steal my home. I showed her justice grows where roses do.